A warm welcome to each one of you. This is Liz Kenywa, and this is a show, the NAOMI Talk Show. And I want to begin by appreciating each one of you who has chosen to watch our content. And we truly hope that you're learning something, you're getting inspired, and you're getting equipped to do life the way God intended us to do. We continue with the series we've been handling of love, keep, and honor. We've already done 4 episodes, and the feedback is amazing. And today, we are having an amazing couple. For the first time, my guests are pastors. They get to sit on this side and ask them questions. How about that? Sio kawaida. And they have an amazing story. They've been married for about almost 11 years, and they have something that you can learn from them. And without taking much time, allow me to let them introduce themselves. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, Liz.
Please introduce yourselves.
Thank you so much, viewers. Happy to be here today. My name is James Muchunga, James wa Ann. Ann is my wife. And as our host said, is that we've been married for 11 years now. Yeah, we also serve God as pastors in Deliverance Churches and Bypass. Yes, we are grateful to be here today. I know that you'll be of help to one another in today's show. Thank you. I'll give my wife an opportunity to introduce herself.
Asante.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Ann Kiharas. I am born again. And one thing that I love repeating everywhere I go is that God is my father. And that is one thing that I love saying everywhere I go, that I have a father and God is my father. And that makes me unique. I'm a mother of 3 boys. And I'm also a businesswoman. I work in Italy. And as my husband has said, we are also pastors. We are under overseer Ngunyi, Reverend Ngunyi, and Mom Elizabeth, and we thank God for them. And we are here in NAOMI Talk with Elizabeth, who is my good friend.
Yes.
So welcome all of you, and I know God is going to bless us together.
Karibuni sana. So it's been 11 years of marriage and Kihara. In summary, tuanzie hapo, how has it been like those 11 years?
In marriage. Okay, marriage has been sweet, has been good, but it also has some challenges.
You know, I like the reality, the honesty in you, that there are challenges
There are
there.
challenges in marriage, but
yes.
truly we've really enjoyed marriage. I can't say that I've never enjoyed marriage. The 2 of us, we've really enjoyed marriage.
Wow.
Because I got married to a friend.
Ah.
I got married to a friend, and that makes it.
Exactly.
Yes, I got married to a friend. So there are times that you have a good time,
Of course.
and you want to continue, but there are times we also have challenges here and there. But in between, we have to come together, overcome the challenges, and move on, because it has to work.
Exactly.
It has to work.
There are not 2 ways around
Not
it.
to
It has to
Hakuna
work.
A and B, it's A and A
Definitely.
and
I
A.
like your motivation. Tuko hapa, it has to work.
It has to work.
Option B, it has to work.
Sure.
Option C, it has
It
to
has
work.
to work.
And nothing else.
Nothing else.
Hakuna exit clause hapo.
Hakuna.
Oh, that's very amazing.
Yes.
Kihara, for you?
For me as well, it's been exciting, the 11 years. Of course, the journey began earlier because we had the time of knowing each other,
Yes.
courtship. And of course, all those phases, the courtship time,
Hiyo tutarudi
then the
huko.
wedding, then when we are staying only the 2 of us in the house, you know, no children. That is another phase.
Yes.
And also when the first child came,
Yes.
then the second one, and now the 3rd one. Okay, all those phases and all the years, it has been exciting. But
Wow.
also, as she rightly said, with a share of challenges. But for me, usually I take challenges as, you know, it's something that stretches us to grow
Exactly.
So I've always taken the challenges that we face, even in the 11 years, as something to catapult us to rise to new levels. And the challenge that you face today, that is usually I tell people, the challenge I face today, even in marriage, tomorrow they are no longer challenges. I have overgrown them. So if they come again in the future, this is something I've been able to handle, and they help us to mature and grow every time in life and in marriage.
Wow.
So the 11 years has been very exciting.
We simply say exciting and good and a learning.
Yes,
A
yes.
learning journey through
Definitely.
the phases
Period.
and the seasons as you have presented them. So wacha turudi kidogo to the place where, you know, the two of you were young and there was that desire to get married, to marry someone, a good wife somewhere. There must be values you are looking for in that girl that you'd meet one day. Those values ulikuwa unatafuta gani in that girl that when you saw her ziliingiana hivi?
Yeah, thank you for that question. Definitely every man, their values, they will look in a woman to marry. Definitely I had that. Actually, I don't know whether I still have the notebook. I had written them down. There were about 20 of them.
What?
20.
20? And you met all of them? Okay, let's hear.
Yeah.
Okay, definitely I won't say that he was able to acquire all of them because no one is an angel.
Of course.
But at least I would look for someone with most of them. And that is why I was able to, you know, I was able to realize that she had the most of them. And that is why I had to approach them. That we can do these things that is called family. Yeah.
Some of them just
Some
highlight.
of them is like, of course I was looking for someone who is compatible with me. There is something I had read a book and it really helped me, talking about one of the things that you should look is compatibilities. There's someone who you are compatible. And I think that's where now we come to the issue of values. Like, I really valued, of course, being born again, grown in church. I desired someone also who is godly, someone who is born again, someone who fears the Lord. And definitely, I had served God in my days of high school. I had served God in the days of college. And I knew that I had a call of God to serve the Lord better. So I was looking for someone who loves the Lord, who won't be become a limiter to me serving the Lord. And one of the things I realized in her is that he loved God. Because actually we met in church. She was serving as an usher. I think at some point I was serving as an usher. She loved God. She was in hospitality. And she was passionate about the things of God. And also I was looking for someone who is humble.
Oh, hiyo inapimangwa aje?
I really loved, you know. Okay, sikupenda mse mwenye, I don't know how I explain it, but I loved someone who is cool. Okay, I may use this word for lack of better word. Sikupenda mse yako na kiberebere mingi.
Kiherehere.
But I realized, I think God had put that in me. Okay, bearing in mind I would see the call of God in me. I would also love someone who is humble, hana kiberebere mingi, mtulivu, and someone who would live with God's people. Because I would see myself, I didn't know when, but I would feel that one day maybe I would become a pastor. Yes. So humility, fear of God, love for God, you know, someone who is prayerful, and of course someone who is beautiful.
Eish, of course. Of
Yes,
course.
someone
And we
had
can see.
yes, that one. Someone had told me, a friend of mine before I married, that it is very important for you to get someone. Okay, to me are these words. Upate kiboko yako, as in someone mwenye huta feel later that you know, someone who feel that is the best for you. Yes.
And ulikuwa na checklist nawe pia? The values of the guy that ulikuwa unatafuta mahali wakati ulimpata ukajua nimefika.
Okay, initially sikuwa ati na checklist, but I know what I wanted.
Yes.
I know what
Inside
I
your
wanted
heart. Yes.
in my heart. And later, hata nini nilikuwa nimeziandika, but si mingi vile.
Hapa ndio unaambiangwa write your vision in bold letters.
Yes.
Ndio hiyo,
Sure.
But the first time I saw him, I was invited to Deliverance Church by my spiritual mother, because initially I was staying with them. So the first time I got in church, I found this young man in pulpit. So I thought he was a pastor. Jo nilimpata kwa mic, but he was not a pastor. And we had nothing, as in like nothing. I never knew him. But he was a very serious guy. Actually, I thought he was dating. Because for me, I had a boyfriend.
Already?
I had a boyfriend already. And when I came to Deliverance, I was in a relationship. So even when I saw him, there was anything.
You thought I was married?
No, I mean, not that you are married, but he was a very serious young man. But I remembered our first youth meeting, our senior pastor told us that it's good for a young girl or a young man to pray before you get married. I had never heard that, because I'm coming from a Catholic background. So from Catholic to Deliverance, this is where you hear about marriage, you hear about relationship, as in mnaitwa na mnaongeleshwa. Kule Catholic haikuwa hivyo. So hearing such statement from church, I took them serious. Na nikajiuliza, by the way, did I pray before I got into the other relationship that I was in? And I started praying for me and that young man. And I had no peace. I had no peace. And that is when I started walking a journey and telling God, I surrender. I don't want to be in a relationship where you didn't ordain, because I did not pray about it. It was like, nimekupenda, umenipenda, and then
Umebeba roho yangu. Let's do this.
I had not prayed about it. So that is the time I realized, I think this is not where God wanted me to be, because the values that I got, the things that I wanted, hazikuwa zinaingiana sana. So I had to drop the relationship and concentrate with God first and myself, so that I can get the ideal man that later would get married to.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So yeye anasema alikuwa na church. Hapo ndio ulijua ni huyu.
No.
Oh, that was
because
the first.
I was in a relationship.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Yes, so even when I got to church and saw him in pulpit, I'm saying the first time I saw him, mi nilimpata kwa pulpit.
So you, where uli notice, when did you notice and realize this one I must pursue?
Okay. I think when we met, actually at first sight I started, okay, something was triggered in me. Because what happened, we used to go to church very early. We were busy in church, and there is this particular Sunday, maybe her very first Sundays in the Deliverance Church. And we are exhausted after, rearranging church. The service is over. It's now around 3, and we are there exhausted with some other young men, and we are asking ourselves, we used to make some tea and some breads after all that work. And out of nowhere, she comes and says she overheard what you are saying. We need someone to prepare the tea for us. And she volunteered.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Don't warm seats in church. If you're still single, stop warming seats. Utapatikana ukiserve.
And bearing in mind she had not been there for long. So this is someone who is maybe, a bit of a stranger. But I knew that she was coming from the family of our senior pastor, because they were staying together. I actually thought that she was a relative.
Oh.
This beautiful, this brown girl, And I think that is getting back maybe to talking about values. I really desired someone who is nurturing, And now here comes Anne, and she says, yes, I can prepare the tea for you. Wow. Yeah. And I realized that character of quality of nurturing. And now from there, one thing led to another. And now we are here.
And
So now from there we started interacting kidogo kidogo.
so uliacha yule jamaa wapi? Kuna jamaa alikuwa hapo.
Kuna jamaa ako kwa picture.
Kuna jamaa tumeacha mahali.
But
Yes.
you remember when I came tukapatiwa topic ya relationship, I decided from my heart that I want to stop with the other relationship and wait. So I called the guy. Actually, no, I SMS'd.
Okay.
It was not easy. I SMS'd and I told him to give me time. And then after few days, SMS nikamwambia it's over. It was not wise doing it through an SMS. But
You know, I'm trying to imagine. He's just seeing an SMS.
But I did it. And I found peace. Actually, I was really struggling. Juu si ati tumekosana, sio ati amenikosea or anything, but deep within me, something was telling me it's not from God.
Yeah.
So it was not easy for me, knowing that this is also a young man, he's also a son of God, hajanikosea. So I was really looking for words, kind words, to tell him not to break his heart, kwa sababu amenikosea. And then kuambia mtu is not from God, anaweza shindwa, kwani am I a devil?
You know.
Kwani mimi ni shetani? So I just told him, for now, I don't want to be in any relationship, and that is how we broke. It was not easy. The process went to kaka hivo, and the same day I broke up with him, I was not thinking about him, but that night I dreamt having a wedding
With me?
Yes, with him. He
Hiyo
knows
huku
the story.
unajua. We thank God for this
Maybe he
show.
has forgotten.
Okay.
Hiyo siku. And si ati nilikuwa namfikiria. And then I started praying zile maombi za kupinga akili za kufikiria
Za
mtu
kimwili.
mwingi, za kimwili.
In Jesus' name.
But to cut the long story short, tulianza tu kuongea. And I used to admire him. Let's be honest. I was admiring the way he was handling people, the way he was serving God. And deep within me, I wanted a man who is born again. And I never wanted to get married to someone who is younger than me. That was in me. So the guy I was dating, he was younger than me in 1 year. So bado hiyo ilikuwa inamdisqualify.
And he was shorter than me.
And he was shorter than me. And I really wanted a tall man.
At least mtu mrefu kuliko umwangaliange hivi, sio
You
unamwangalia
know, I'm
hivi.
speaking
Tall,
from my
dark,
heart.
and
I know.
Mi sikuwa nataka mtu mfupi. And sikuwa nataka mtu mbrown. So I wanted a man who is born again, serious with God, who is kind, who is not after girls. You know, there are men who are, they're in church, but they're after girls. So he was very serious. And then tukapendana tu.
So I actually like the fact that yeye alikubali kuachika, hakuleta drama. Because it's unfortunate these days. I think we are seeing very bad incidences where ukiambiwa unawachwa, or when the girl expresses I don't want to proceed with this relationship, we've even seen it on the media. Jamaa anaenda nanunua panga, anasema you will not continue living as long as you're not with me. Those incidences are there. So wherever he is, I think we salute him because hakuleta drama. Alikubali kuachika.
Alikubali kuachika. Alikubali kuachika, but I think ilimuhit sana.
Definitely, it's painful.
Sana. It is not easy, but definitely I knew deep within me after I took 3 days to pray about it. Our relationship, nikaiombe, and I had no peace. Nashindwa kwa nini sina peace. And the time I decided that I want to let it go, ndio nilipata a lot of peace. Yes.
Wow.
So sometimes it's very important to hear from God.
Exactly.
Because sometimes when you continue with a relationship for your sake, without thinking about what God is saying, at the end of the day, itakuletea shinda.
And you know the funny thing, God is always talking.
Yes.
Sure.
It is us who sometimes are also too busy to
busy to
imagine,
hear from him.
and also to imagine that sidhani hiyo ni story ya God, sidhani hiyo ni story ya God. Then unajipata umeingia, then you're wondering how did I get here? You got there because probably you kept ignoring
Sure.
the voice that kept on telling you, stop, don't, stop, don't. And it's really a very gentle voice.
Yes.
Marrying
Haitakuja-
out of a permissive will.
you know.
Actually, at one point, our senior pastor said the time he called us as young people, he said, before you get into a relationship, think about God and serving God before you think about anything else. So I said, is this man will, because I had a passion of serving God. Wakati niliokoka nilikuwa nataka tu kutumikia Mungu. And then I knew sometimes hakuwa naenda church. So si mzee alikuwa ameokoka, niseme tu ukweli. So the point of serving God, I never saw ourselves with him serving God. That was also a red flag for me.
Red flags.
Yes.
They need not to be ignored. Kihara, coming back to you, now that mumekuja hapa, mumeona na ukasema this one siwachi, hii siwachi. So how was like the dating phase and the courtship phase for you?
Okay, ours actually has two phases.
Yes, let's hear those two
The
phases.
dating season.
Eh.
I remember calling her and I told her what is in my heart. That was around 2010.
No, you took her for coffee or you said it on the phone?
No, I called her. I called
Okay.
her for a coffee. Yes, and we met somewhere in Thika Road. Yes, that was around 2010.
It was 2020.
2010, yes.
By the way, ladies are very particular with it. She can even give you the day, the time,
Yes.
the place,
Yeah.
and even what you are wearing. Anyway.
Okay, I may not remember all those details, but I remember we met somewhere around Allsops, and I told her what was in my heart. Yeah, and then the journey began. So we asked each other to pray, but for me it was already like God
Clear.
has confirmed. These are lady now I've seen for about 2 years in church. I invited her to a number of things. There is a ministry that we used to serve, to go to see orphans. We would visit children's home. We would go to streets, and I invited her, and she was very royal. She would come, you know. And by that confirmed to me that she's the one. Because in those interactions in church, I was able to, you know, it is said that, you know, like church setup is very good because you are able to see someone. She's not able to pretend to everyone. And by it was confirmed. And that is why after like 2 years, I was able to call her for a coffee. I asked her to pray for about 3 weeks. And then I think we gave ourselves time. Was it
21
3 weeks?
days of prayer
Was
and
it 3
fasting.
weeks or 3 months?
It was 3 months.
Was it
3
just
months.
prayer or prayer and fasting? Yani ilikuwa
Just
kiroho
praying.
sana. What?
Just
Tulikuwa ya
praying.
kiroho.
I think we gave ourselves a period of 3 months.
3 months.
And then we meet again and she reports. And I think 3 months never elapsed. We met
Months or
again.
weeks?
It
was
was
3
months.
months, not
It was
Ai,
months.
we. I pray for 3 months. About, okay, sawa, sorry.
Yes.
We never want us to do
I
guesswork.
thought it was 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Once,
But I think within 1 month we had already met, and
Yes.
it was positive that we gonna continue. But I think it was not very certain. We started the journey, but it was not very clear when we are to wed. So somewhere along the way, I think Satan wanted again to separate us, and it really happened.
Mukaingia phase 1, mukamaliza phase 1.
Yes, as like we reached a point and it was like, I'm not sure. It's like I'm not very sure whether she's the one, and also she's not like very sure.
Okay.
And we were at a season of sometimes we go quiet on each other.
Actually, I remember I called him. He did not pick the phone. We were going for a Graver meeting.
Graver
Yeah.
is a ministry that we used to go, Grace and
Okay.
Favor, we used to go and
Yes.
visit orphans.
So we were meeting somewhere. So I called him. He never picked the phone. So grudge zikaanza
Ah,
hapo.
wewe na wewe brother. Simu lazima iko kwa mkono.
So when he came, after tumekutana tuko watu wengi, jioni ndio nikamu-SMS. Although tulikuwa tumenyamaziana kiasi, and I told him, I think I need time to think about it. Na akaniambia sawa, haku fight back, akaniambia sawa. And we stayed for almost 8 months.
Yes.
Repeat.
8 good months.
We had to meet and agree that we set each other free. If
And
she
we
gets
met.
someone, she was never meant to be mine.
And if you
And
see
if
someone,
get someone, I will
kwa
attend
heri
your
ya
wedding.
kuonana. Wow.
Yes.
And
And we did that
8 months.
For 8 months.
for 8 months. So we met. Si tuliangri kutuanze hii safari. Si tumeona kuna vile hatupatani. So we met, tukaachana, nikambarikisha, nikamwambia if you do your wedding before me, I will come. Na akaniambia hivyo. And we went our ways.
Okay. Sawa.
It was not an
I
easy
agree.
season.
It was in
Not
2
an easy
pieces.
one.
Yes, yes. So at that season, you know, Satan will always try to bring the person who is not the one. And I would, at that season, because I was feeling that my season is near now to get married, to cross over. And I would think and prayerfully, I would cry to God. I would wake up at night and pray, because here is the season. Na sijui niko wapi. We have already set each other free. And I even tried to approach a girl.
Okay.
Yes, I thought maybe it is this one. But later I came to realize this one, it's not the one. Because I used to be very careful when I'm meeting with this girl. I would really check my words. I would really check how I'm dressing.
Do you know some of those things, by the way, people need to take them seriously. If you
Yeah.
cannot be you,
You cannot be
real,
yourself.
be natural, when you're around this person, trend very carefully.
You're
and
right.
Slow, and slow
That's
down.
true.
You're
You
right.
need to slow down.
Yeah. And also there is this friend of mine, you know him, Danko, who used to be very close, and even today we are very close. And Danko would tell me, Jemo, chunga sana, isikue tutakuja kupeleka gift kwa hiyo harusi ya Ann, alafu uishi kusema, dem nilikuwa nimeona alikuwa mzuri mweupe. And those words used to make me fear a lot. But within those 8 months, I came to realize, hey, here, naji-enjoy. This is not the girl. And actually, the girl had to say no.
Oh, she's the one who said no.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Imagine I had even proposed, she had to say no.
This is interesting.
Yes.
Ulikuwa umeenda? Ulikuwa umemove on?
Nilikuwa nimemove on.
But also I think within the same time, I think she told me that there are guys who came, I think like 2 of them, and they are serious.
There were 3.
3 of them.
They were serious.
Hot cake.
But deep
But-
within me, I don't know. I had
No peace.
I had no peace. I had no peace. Actually, I remember. Let me go back a bit. There's a book I was writing when I was a small girl, and I used to write what is in my heart and what I would love in life. And siku moja nikienda church, hiyo haikuwa notebook ya church. Nikatafuta ka notebook yangu sikuiona. So I went to my bag and I took that book. Nikasema hii naenda nayo na siwezi nitaishikilia hivi because ilikuwa na my personal things, secret things.
Ikishikwa na mtu basi.
Ikishikwa na mtu atanijua sana. So I took the book na nilikuwa nasema this book I'll read it to my husband.
Wow.
Yes. So mi nikaenda nayo church. Kwenda nayo church, nikaiandika vizuri notes, and then tulikuwa tunaenda kwa Jemo. That time tulikuwa tunamuita Jemo, alikuwa chairman wetu wa youth. Sasa tumeenda kama ushers. Sasa tumeenda, and then mi nilikuwa nimeajiriwa mahali, so kuna time ya kufika huko. Mi nilipoangalia time nikaona watu tulikuwa we were many ushers wengi, so nikaona time inaenda. Mi nikachukua kabag kangu nikakimbia, nikaacha kitambu. That time by then we were not in a relationship. Hatukuwa tumeanzia, hakuwa ameniambia anything. Na mimi sikuwa tunafikiria anything. Nikaacha kitambu. Kufika tu kwa gate hivi nikakumbuka wololo my book. Na saa hiyo ni ako mrango, mimi nakaa Thika Road. karibu na Safari Park. What? So I called my friend. Nikamwambia, please go to Jemo's house and pick my book. Afadhali msichana isome na isisome na kijana. Iko na hii cover. Enda please unichukue. Akaniambia kwani iko na, nikaambia you just go pick my book.
Half of my life is in that notebook.
So imagine hakuchukua. So mimi sijui kulienda aje. Because that Sunday, the following Sunday, ndiye alikuja akanipatia hii kitabu.
Huyu?
Lakini nakwambia, ushainama. Nichukue hiyo kitabu.
Ulisoma kitabu?
I had already read the book. Yes, after the ushers left, I realized there is a book which has been left here. So I had to go and all the qualities that she needed, all the private things that she
I had done.
But that was a confirmation, I think, because
lakini huko umeandika ulikuwa umetafuta na majamaa wengine watatu.
That time hatukuwa tumepatana. So after hii period ya kuachana 8 months ndio kuna majamaa wengine walikuwa wamekuja. So hiyo book bado nilikuwa nimeandika relationship yenye sasa nilikuwa ni break after hearing from God it's not the one. About nikiwa high school, nikiwa sasa nikiwa home, the things that were going through my mind, they were all in that book.
We?
Yes.
We, ndio maana ukainama. Ulikuwa unasikia
nakwambia
ni mali unasemanga dunia simama nishuke.
Hivi. Anu angeshi githinji. Here is your book. I was like, I could not face him. From that time nilianza tu kumavoid. So akakuja, tulikuwa tunatengeneza nini Holy Communion kwa a room. Akakuja, that time si ashanipatia kitambu. Hata sijui ama nilimwambia, what did I say? I can't even remember. Anakuja na ananiambia, na Kathrek, mlikuwa nikajua kijana ataisoma kitabu. Sijui mwambia, we've never met, tujue ama nilikuwa Kathrek. Ananiambia, na Kathrek mlikuwa mnatengeneza, hata sikumjibu. Ndinyamaza tu. So, nilikuwa nasema, hii kitambu, ugete, hii kitambu, nitasomea
husband.
So hizo vitu zilikuwa zinaingia.
Alishajisomea.
Alikuwa amejisomea. So when these guys were coming, nilikuwa nasema God remember nilisema ile kitambu ni yeye alisoma. And hata kama tulikuwa separated, deep within me, somehow I knew he was the one. Mi sikuwa nina struggle.
Ama ulikuona ile wasichana wanasemanga let me play hard to get kidogo nione kama huyu jamaa.
No, actually hiyo season ya separation, I thank God that it happened. Have you ever thanked God that hiyo kitu separation ina happen? Kwa sababu nilijirealize that he's a man. Naona kuna vile unaingia
unasema kama mkutano,
is he the one? He's not the one. Because when the 3 men came, actually one of them was very serious. Juu alikamingi kwa January na ananiambia December anataka kuwed. And I told him I'm not ready. And then hakuwa na qualities zenye mimi nilikuwa nataka. Mwingine akakuja, nikamwambia straight, akaniambia and please go and pray about it, think about it. And straight in his eyes, yes, sikumwambia hivyo. Nikamwambia, to be honest with you, you are a good man, but I will not think about it and I will not pray about it because I know we are not meant to be. Akaniambia kwa, nikamwambia I just know and I wish you well. Na alioa jamaa. Jamaa alioa na wote walioa, but deep within me, when thinking about him, I had a lot of peace. That's your season ya 8 months nilikuwa na a lot of peace, but I could not approach him being a girl. Of course. I had to wait for him to come and I was really avoiding him. Nisionyeshane ni kama niko na interest.
Let me give you some marks there because naturally that is how it is supposed to be. These days we are seeing girls are the one even going on their knees. Unafungua pete unauliza huyu jamaa, will you marry me? For crying out loud.
Actually the Bible says he who finds a wife.
Exactly.
That's it.
So let him continue being the hunter.
Yes.
You are the hunted.
Yes.
Cheza kama wewe bwana.
Cheza kama.
Wasichana chezeni kama nyinyi. Don't go like can I chase you?
No.
Because that's playing a reversed role. You're chasing a guy. Now you can imagine.
Actually I tell girls, even if you hear from God it's him and you know, please tell the same God who've spoken to you
And
to
provoke.
speak to him.
Yes, and provoke
Yeah,
and make the moves.
Make the move, because now how do you operate in a house when you're the one?
You know, you get to the house and you become the man, quote and
Yes.
quote, because you're the one who now
Who initiated
everything. So this guy will take a back seat. Unataka tujenge nyumba, wewe ndio unauliza tutajenga. Watoto tunapeleka shule wapi? Anakuuliza si utafute. Everything now falls back on you.
That's true.
And you'll be very frustrated because you took the space, the opportunity, and that which is God ordained of the man to take charge in the home, in the family.
That's true.
For that I appreciate. Ulikaa ukingoja ukisema Jehovah Lord.
Nilikaa gumu.
So sasa mkakuja soften roho after 8 months.
Yes, now after 8 months, I remember we met, it was a Saturday afternoon when we set each other free. It was in April. That was April 2011. It was during our wedding of one of our friends. And that evening we were able to set each other free. But after 8 months, that was again in 2012, it was actually Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I told her that there are some of my belongings got lost. Documents. And bear in mind that this is after 8 months of being separated. And I told her to take me to Karen. But in me, I already got a confirmation that she's the one. So I'm calling her to go and break the news that she's the one. And I proposed to her. And, you know, in her humility, she accepted to come. I was afraid that she might say, no, Manzi, you're in dump. Yes, but imagine she accepted to come, and we went somewhere in Karen, in Ororua Forest. And she didn't know. I don't know whether she knew that something is cooking. But I went and...
I'll let him know. Let him finish.
Yes, I proposed. I told her, yeah, I've confirmed that you're the one. And I had a ring for proposal. And that Valentine's Day, I proposed to her again. I inserted the ring. And we then started the journey, the phase 2. It only took 14 months.
Kuna kitu amesema atajibu.
So it was on Valentine's Day. To cross over that year, it was 2012.
Yes.
So, si New Year inakuja unakuanga na New Year resolutions. Mimi nilichukua, I had only 200 by the way, kwa bank, kwa M-Pesa na cash.
Between you and you,
And
200 shillings.
Nikachukua because I was serious with God. I never wanted to make mistake when it comes to marriage. Mimi sikuwa ninataka. Nilikuwa nimeona watu wakihangaika. And I had told God, I want to have a peaceful marriage. And I want to serve you. So I don't want to just to get married because people are getting married. Yeah. So watu wakienda kupeleka resolutions zao, mimi nilienda na sacrifice Juja Road. Nikaeka my 200 and I knelt down and I remember I told God, I know God you have a man for me. I may think it's James and it may not be him, but if it's him, just confirm to me. He'll be the first man this year to ask me out when I don't know. But the first man who will come this season
na kupeleke out,
anipeleke out na niulize, because actually I got married at 27, so I was not a young girl. And the clock was
of course
okay to me. So I never wanted jokes. Nilikuanga mzee yule serious. So no wonder ni mtu akikuja nilikuwa namwambia I don't, if I don't feel I'm at peace, I will not encourage you kukudanganya, let me pray about it. So nikaeka hiyo sacrifice and I told God, this is all what I have. I have prayed, I have fasted, and I just want to hear from you. Na hiyo fast, before hata anipigie hiyo Feb, the following day, alinicall. Akaniambia anaenda, maybe haezi kumbuka, akaniambia anaenda Mission Kenyatta, ama naeza mpeleka, nikamwambia, I am busy. I can't take. Nilikuwa nimesema the first man ni vitu zenye unafanyanga uko msichana unasema what if someone else called. But God anaangalianga our sincerity in our hearts. So he called, nikamwambia I am busy, I can't take him. And then ndio alipiga simu akaniambia kuna property zake ametupa na mimi hiyo before apige simu something was telling me deep within me, kiniuliza nini sitasema, but kuna kitu ilikuwa inaniambia you will receive a call from him. And he called. So mimi akiniambia kuna properties zimepotea, nilikuwa najua hii probably we are going to come back.
Haya, so hapo umekubali, amekuuliza will you marry me? Ana amesema yes.
Mimi sikusema no.
Ukasema
because
yes.
I knew.
Of course. Thank you. Haukumtesa?
Sikumtesa.
Ukasema yes.
Nilisema ndio kwa sababu I knew.
Hapo mulianza kupanga sasa kwenda mbele ama mulianza
kufanya? Let me surprise you. This young man, by the way, my husband, one thing I know about him, he's very organized. Yeye ukimpatia kitu na mpango, he's way far better than me. So hiyo siku tu alikuwa anajua siku yenye tunaenda kuvisit wazazi. Alikuja akaniuliza whether I am comfortable. He came mpaka na
Ngoja. This is too much on the same day. So
Same
hiyo
day.
siku ndiye anakuambia will you marry me?
We sat down, yes.
Alafu after kuhomoka kidogo anakuambia siku fulani with a date.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree he's organized.
So alikuja na hizo zote akaniuliza am I okay? Nikaangalia nikasema I am okay because I was ready to get married by the way. And I knew na hizo confirmation zote nimetembea nazo and deep within me sidanganyi, I knew he was the one. I had a lot of peace thinking about two of us. Na ikikuja mtu mwingine ninasikia yes. So mimi si kupiga raudi. Aliniweka lini nikasema
So
yes.
basically phase 2 was just
Marathon.
wedding planning.
Yes.
Ilikuwa ni marathon.
Because this is Valentine of 2012 and wedding came on April 20th, 2013. So that was only 14 months visiting parents, going for dowry,
the
committees. Yeah, but it was very relaxed actually. We really,
had
that
time.
planning, it really
time.
helped us because we were able to do things without rush. We had like 6 months between dowry and the wedding, and we planned our wedding in a very relaxed way.
Sure.
It was,
I was
not
there.
a rush, yes.
I was there.
I can confirm.
And it was a very good wedding.
We thank God.
And we bless the Lord. So Anne, kuna hii, I think ladies are like more prepared than men because there's something they do for women. I don't know whether it was done for you. Ulifanywa bridal shower?
Yes, yes.
Wewe ulifanywa men shower?
Yes.
Definitely. But I think we were in the season where those things were coming. So it's something I had never heard or seen. Okay, you know there are two different kind of showers.
Of course.
There is the one that girls will do for their girl, as like she's coming from their camp now. But for grooms, they really receive. But for me, I received. But it's not like the one the young men are coming excited and they are saying, now you're getting out.
Yes,
It
really
was
serious.
a device.
Is when the, like, let me call them the fathers speak to the
Definitely.
young man and tell him, young man, now our son,
I remember
this is
you
where
were
you're
there.
getting.
Actually, it was a surprise because our best couple called us.
Yes.
We thought it's just a final meeting because this came a Saturday before our wedding come on Saturday. So I thought it's just the finally brethren that we get there and receive. We usually call it finally brethren.
Watu wengi.
Because that is when you are able to receive the things that you could not be able to share before. Those can only be shared when you are a few days before the wedding. But lo and behold, entering the house, there are a number of couples.
Yes.
And definitely I was sat down by a number of men.
And they spoke the
and
truth.
they spoke the real thing,
Yes.
the real stuff.
The raw truth. You know, that's a beauty.
Yes.
Because then at least you have a rough idea of this space
what
you're
is
getting
ahead
You're
of
into.
right.
you.
You're right.
That's true.
It's, you know, marriage is the only place you're given the certificate. then you're told, enda
Go and-
ujifundishe.
You're
That's
right.
true.
Enda ukasome. So with that, at least that which they did for you, it must have been helpful for you.
Very
that's
much.
true.
And also for you. And that we appreciate. So then I hope you're also doing the same for
Yes,
the girls
yes.
and the young men that are getting into marriage.
Yes.
We are doing the same, and maybe at that point I can talk to men. Usually, we realize that ladies are very good in this.
Exactly.
They really able to call their girl and groom her. But for us men, we are left alone. And now when you get to marriage, you are very green. And as you say, you've been given certificate now to go and practice things that you have not learned. So I would challenge men, it is very important for us to sit our young men, yes, and give them advice, because this area, sometimes we think we know a lot and we really know nothing.
That's true.
So it is important to sit that young man down and give them advice. For example, maybe even without going to details, it's good to talk about the first night, you know, honeymoon. Because I know that you get into marriage with the wrong footing. It can contribute to things
Going
going wrong
Yeah.
throughout your marriage. But when you get with the right footing, which you come with good preparations, it also contributes to your marriage starting in the right footing and working very well. So I encourage men, kindly sit down our young men before they get married
And talk to
and give them advice.
Yeah. But they must also be willing to learn.
They must be willing to
Because,
learn
you know, naturally,
You're
I think
right.
women
and also
have,
to unlearn.
women are more eager to know, to get information, to learn. Men, kuna ile kitu ya, I'll learn on the job, make as many mistakes as I can as I learn on the
Nikienda.
job, which can be costly, as you have said.
Yeah.
So, and when you're getting married, did you know, was he a pastor already?
No, he was not.
He was not a
He was
pastor.
not a pastor.
So alikuja kuwa pastor sasa mkishaoana.
Tukishaoana. Yes.
Hiyo siku alikuja
Tukiwa
akamwambia,
mpaka actually na watoto wawili.
akamwambia, my dear Ann, mimi nasikia hii mwito imekuwa mwito kabisa.
No, actually he came and akaniambia the senior pastor amemwambia amemconsider akuwe a pastor. What do you think about it? Mimi nikamwambia niko sawa because I knew I could see the calling of God upon his life.
Au kuingia resistant movement.
No.
Eh.
Hapana.
Wow, that's interesting, because sometimes I think some will struggle because you never began from that space where he was already in ministry, then he's coming to ministry. So your adjustment for some inakuwa ni
He has always been
changamoto.
a church person.
Yes.
Even before he came to be a pastor, his life was like job, ako church, job, church. So I knew one day he will serve the Lord.
Your heart was prepared, in short.
I was prepared.
Amazing. Interesting.
I was prepared.
Haya, so ndio huyu hapa, watoto wameanza kuingia, as he said in the intro, the faces of children coming in and all that. But on your shoulders, James, there's a lot. You are not just a pastor, you're a businessman,
Sure.
you're a father, you're a husband.
Yeah.
And all these things need your attention. So for a young person listening to you and looking up to you, and they would want to know, how do you manage to make sure that you don't drop the ball?
Okay.
Your wife is not a miserable wife. Your children are not wondering ways, and especially now that you have sons, they're not wondering, kwani daddy aliamua kutuachanga kabisa.
Yeah.
And then also your business is not suffering. And also ministry. You know, ministry is like being a doctor. You're on 24 hours call. Tutakupigia saa 8, washirika tukwambie, niobe napeleka mtoto hospitali. Mwingine anahitaji. So how do you really balance that so that you don't really lose your family in the process?
Okay. I think it is work. It is work to be able to balance between marriage, parenting, the ministry, and also the business, because I'm also in business.
Yeah.
And one must be deliberate.
Exactly.
Otherwise, if you're not, you're going to find that some balls are falling. So it is hard work, but maybe the thing to do with ministry, even as she said, even before I was commissioned to serve as a pastor, these are things that I was doing. It's not that I start serving because now I've been commissioned as a pastor.
Yes.
So just continuity of what I was doing. Yeah. But what I can say and the advice I can give is that one must be very deliberate, and creating time, and also realizing sometimes it is easy for us pastors who love church, we can become churchholic every time you are in church.
That just reminds me, one of our bishop's wife kept on saying that every time anaulizwa bishop alienda wapi, anasema he went to be with the Lord because he was always in church.
It's a good one.
Hey.
He was always, you know, in that space where he was, of course, serving God, not in bad faith. So it is, as you're saying, you have to be deliberate, you have to be intentional to know when and how and what needs your attention.
You're right.
Because at the end of the day, when all is said and done, after church,
You go
east or west,
Home is the
home is
best.
the best. You
and
must
there's a
go
place
back
you
home.
have to start creating the conducive atmosphere
You're right.
to land, to come and land. And well, that is interesting. And being a pastor's wife, we
Yes.
have expectations.
For the pastors, or
Ai, akisimama ashika microphone hivi a vibrate, we expect Anne has to vibrate at the same wavelength. I mean, those are the expectations we have, of course, of the pastors and all that. So how have you managed that pressure?
okay.
As in isikukule.
One thing, I thank God that I'm a pastor's wife. Because he's the one who said
God had
that
called him.
it's God who called us. But at the same time, it's not easy. It comes with a lot of expectations and so many things. But one thing that I have concentrated with, I'm always myself.
Be real, be you.
I'm myself. I will not compare myself with anyone else because I have my own list. Some people may expect me to do this, to speak like this, to be where he is at all the times. But I want to be real. I want to live my life. Regardless, sasa kama mimi ni bibi ya pastor, bado niko na maisha yangu. So I have children I have to take care of. Yes. So I have to balance. So I cannot be at every time niko church kwa maombi mapema. Watoto wananihitaji. So many things. I also need to take care of him. So there's a lot of balancing. And pastor's wife saa zingine tunakuanga na pressure.
Expectations, I think, for the congregation and the
Yes.
people. Sometimes, yeah, they are there, and sometimes they can be very unrealistic.
Right.
Yes. But if you make a decision and make up your mind that I am here to serve the Lord, the one who called me, and love his people. The other thing, see people with the eyes of God. Because sometimes you can also have a problem when you're seeing people as, but ukieka lensi za Mungu ambie God, just help me because I am here, I'm nowhere to go. When do you niweka hapa? Siwezi change. I will serve you. Because I'm a pastor's wife. Help me to love people. Help me to see them the way you see them. And help me to accommodate them. And one thing that helps me, I have a very, I know you know her, my mother, my spiritual mom.
Yeah.
She's very helpful. Sometimes I just look at her, the way she does her thing, and she encourages me. Mom will serve God, concentrate with God, and move on with her life. So sisi tuko na mtu wa kuangalia. So me, I serve God, concentrate with God. And I remember an example that was given in Hope FM, and I've never forgotten. I already went to the pastor, na akaambia pastor so and so anasema, huyu sijui anasema, and all those things, in church, eh? And then the pastor akachukua a glass of water, clean water. Akamwambia shikilia hii maji na isimwagike. Alafu nataka uzunguke hii compound yote ya church and you make sure that the water will not drop, as in haitatoka kwa yes. So akaenda kama ameshikilia and then akarudisha very carefully. Akaulizwa na pasi, have you seen anyone in the compound? Akasema no. Have you how many cars? Akasema hakuna. Akaulizwa kwa nini? Kwa sababu ulikuwa umeshikilia na una concentrate na the main thing. So akamwambia concentrate on what God has called you to be. So that example I've never forgot. Na nilisikia actually when I was a girl. So when I go to church sometimes people have expectation, unaweza kanyangwa hata ama unaweza kanyangana by the way. But when we go to church, let's concentrate on what we've gone. Relationship is good. And God has called us to have a relationship with Him and even with others. But in all that, concentrate in serving the Lord. With Kenya umeshika. Na make sure hakuna maji inamwagika. Be very careful. And then utafika tu vizuri. And that so many people will learn from you. Utakuwa tiwa ulisema, ulinipata, and all those things. We serve God. Angalia husband yako, angalia watoto. Trust God that you have the heart to love people because sometimes it's not easy. And
you have to have a very big heart.
Definitely.
A big one, my friend.
You love those people who celebrate you, those who do not celebrate you. There are people who think that you are not called. Yes, exactly. And the moment a pastor realizes that there are people definitely who think that you are not called, you still love them because God has called you to minister to them. Those who celebrate you, those who do not celebrate you, those who believe in your calling, those who do not. They are all the people of God. The same way unaita Mungu Baba, hata yeye anaenda kumuita nani? Baba. So many expectations, but the main thing, we are in charge to serve God and serve the people of God and have a very big heart. My auntie once told me, nilikuwa nimempelekea ka story. I had two friends walikuwa wamenisema, so ninaenda kwa auntie yangu ninamwambia walisema, alikuwa ananiita nyanya kanyanya. So I was very right when I was young. So I was
You're
bitter.
Still right.
I was bitter. Walikuwa wananiita arobino, kanyanya. So nilikuwa ninalia. So I went to my auntie kuwasema hao. Auntie wangu akaniambia, nataka wewe ukuwe na kiroho kikubwa. Ati mawe ikirushwa hata kama ni nono aje inagonga hii side, inagonga hii side. The other thing itafanya ni kuruka kwa sababu haina mahali ya kukaa. Sijawahi sahau hiyo. And then my auntie, my late auntie Masi, sijawahi sahau. The same case akaniambia nisikue mtu wa mdomo. I never thought that one day I'll become I was a very young girl in my primary school. The same case nikampelekea makesi because my mother passed when I was a very young girl. So akakuja nikamwambia, hey, wanasema. Akaniambia, wageshi, mushenele uyuragia karoli. That is what she told me in Greek. Mushenele uyuragia karoli. And then she explained to me. Akaniambia utaambiwa ni Wangeshi alisema hivi. Naye ukienda kwa Wangeshi asema hapana ni Wanjiro. Wanjiro aseme si Wanjiro ni Wangoi, si Wangoi ni Kamau. So utatoka kwa Wanjiro, uende kwa Wangeshi, uende kwa Kamau. So mtajaza, alikuwa anasema mtajaza Karoli mkitafuta evidence.
Exactly.
So alikuwa ananiambia usitafute evidence, let the bus stop with you.
Wow.
So that has really helped me. So if I hear anything or I see anything, I always take everything to God. And if I can't handle it, I share with my husband or with close friends or with my spiritual mother. Yes, that has really helped me to concentrate with God and the calling of God upon my life.
Wow.
Yes.
I love the wisdom. I love the wisdom. Usijaze roli na mawe ya kuambiwa, uliambiwa, then you waste your time ukitafuta mwenye alisema, alafu unatoka hapo uko na uchungu, you end up hating 10 people because all of them you're following them and you're hurting them on the way as you're trying to get the evidence,
and there's no need.
Alafu Sunday mtakutana na wao ama any other place. So it's good to maintain stable relationships and of course your interactions and be wise, as you're saying. And sometimes tunashindangwa, do pastors have friends outside church? In our head, sometimes we think a pastor operates from church, home, home, church, church, home, home, church, home, church.
And school, eh?
Na
When you're going
watoto,
to visit.
na kuona watoto. What's the life like that is outside that kind of environment for you people?
I think is one of the balances that you must do as a pastor, as a family person. It is a very tricky balance to be able to manage, because you realize that as a pastor there are some things you are not able to share with the members. And it's so good to know that pastors are human beings and they have got their own needs.
They are human beings.
Yes. Some people, they will take pastors sometimes like they are, you know, they are special beings that come from heaven. Maybe sleep in heaven. Sometimes you feel very disheartened when people even say to children like, we ni mtoto wa pastor, kwa nini unafanya hivi? Okay, but to go direct to your question is that it is very important to have relationships and friends. And deliberately what we have done is that we have looked for fellowship. And right now we have a team of young pastors where we meet regularly, we take our wives out together.
It is important to emphasize, amkutanangi kuomba.
We don't
Yes,
fast. We don't
yes,
buy
yes.
Thank you.
Like
That
this
is what we want
Valentine,
to
we
hear.
took our wives out for a night out, you know.
telling you.
Hallelujah.
Sometimes we go swimming together. Sometimes we go for activities together. Because it is good to realize that in this world you cannot be able to, you need fellowship.
Exactly.
But also, we also very deliberate to make sure that we reach out to people. Because sometimes people fear pastors, but we're very deliberate. Sometimes tunashuka. Tunashuka, we visit a family, we talk to people in church, you know, we go down. We don't want that tunakaa pale, you know. We interact with young people, with young couples, with old couples. We will visit them. We will participate in their things like any other person. So we make deliberate, as much as God has trusted us in this office, we also have friends who are pastors and others who are not pastors.
That's true.
Several of them. And it really makes the journey better.
Yeah.
And also you're able to realize that sometimes someone can be deceived that this office that you're serving in, you can really be segregated. But you must be very deliberate to maintain old friends. I mentioned people like Danco. We have ministries where we serve like CFCM. You must make sure that you maintain. I have seen people when they become pastors,
They disconnect.
They disconnect a lot. But you have made it deliberate. If there is a couples fellowship, we must be there. If there is something for one of the members, we must be there. We don't want to be seen like we are there and others are here. We want to be there.
Yeah.
And it really helps us to feel good that we are normal, we are not like,
Exactly.
That's true.
we are not special in any way.
Exactly.
Yes.
You're human being, ni vile mmeongezewa neema.
That's true.
Different extra grace and the rest of us, which we like to respect and to honor,
You're
but
right.
also appreciate those who are also in ministry like you, that you have life outside, you know,
Yes,
the
that's
confines
true.
of just, you know, serving and all that. There is life where Anne wants to feel special. There is life where Jim wants to feel, yes, I am valued, I'm
Want to be
appreciated.
Anne.
And you want to be Anne minus the titles that come with the office that you work in. Wow. So as we get close to finishing, I'm sure people have learned a lot from the two of you. And what would be your 2 things that you would advise to a young girl who wants to get into marriage?
One, be serious with God. Be serious with God. And be serious with yourself.
Yes.
Because if you're serious with God and you're serious with your life, you attract what you are.
Exactly.
You attract what you are. So, and know what you want. Because sometimes you will settle for anyone because you don't know what you want. So know what you want in life. Be serious with God. Be committed in everything. Kama ni kazi unafanya, be committed. Usikue mtu mwenye who is waiting to get married for that man to support you. Be doing something. Work with your own hands. And the other thing I would advise girls, don't waste someone's time. Please don't.
And the other way also.
And the other way. Because I tell girls, why tell a young man that you pray, that you think about it, but back in your mind unajua hauko huko. Actually kuna mtu mnauliza sini so and so I wish angekuja. So if you're sure he's not your caliber, si ati ni wa shetani, but hata kama ameokoka. Unajua saa zingine men, kuna mtu aliniambia nashindwa amenikataa kwa nini? Nimeokoka, ninampenda Mungu, nina serve. But you know, si watu wote wameokoka na wana serve God, mnaweza kuwa compatible.
Exactly.
So if you know that, for sure, I am not ready for a relationship, please don't waste the Son of God. Usimpie time. Just tell him the truth. He will not die.
Well, he'll be hurt.
He will be hurt.
But life has to move on.
But life has to move on.
Wow.
So be serious with God and yourself. Know what you want and be hardworking. And do it prayerfully. Kuna watu wanasemanga, hizi vitu mnafanyanga zikuwe spiri sana. Wacha nikwambie, kosa kukua mtu spiritual. Ukiingia kwa marriage ndio utajua the bar is very high. You need a lot of prayers. If you start something with prayer, si msemo ya inasemango ya kawaida, it is true. If your relationship started with prayer, then same case with your marriage, we need a lot of prayer to sustain it. Because there are so many things that cause around the marriage that only God can help you to stand firm and still say, I love this young man. And if I was to be asked again, and sasa tunataka ufanye harusi, the same thing I would say, I would love to get married to Pastor James. And even if he's not a pastor, I'll still get married to him. But it has to take determination and ukue mtu decided. And also be a woman of prayer. Kwa sababu there are things that God has deposited in women, we see and men are not. They are not in a position to see. That is how God wired women.
We have an intuition.
Yes. So sometimes there are things that God will help you to go ahead. Utasema ni kuskata ama ni kufrate and pray for them. So that your marriage will be in a better place. That you will please God who ordained this thing to be. And you, actually the Bible says, when you get married, I don't belong to myself, I belong to him. For me to belong to him and him to belong to me, there has to be a balance. Unaona? Na hiyo balance ni Mungu anaweza tu ileta. Ili maisha isikue ngumu kwangu na isikue ngumu kwako, tukue ni kuvumiliana, tunavumiliana. And that is something that I never wanted.
Waambie pia wasikule fair.
See, that's why we are saying they work. At least usiseme all the time hauna.
You know?
Yes, mtu anaweza kosa lakini all the times hauna, si fair. But know what you want in this life.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you. Your parting shot.
My parting shot, bearing in mind that this is a show of helping people maybe to thrive in marriage, and even when they're preparing to get into marriage, I would advise that one of the things which has really helped our marriage is because I married someone who loved God and someone who loved me. Because if someone loves God, he'll be able to love you. If someone does not love God, it becomes very tricky to be able to love you. And also it's good for someone to confirm. When you go for dates, someone said, go and take data. Yes, don't just go with your heart, also go with your mind.
With your brain.
And don't just go and take coffee. Go and ask questions. It is good to confirm things because some of the things that are becoming a challenge in marriages and you realize people are not able to continue is because there are things they did not confirm. There are basic details they were supposed to know before they, before they come to even committing themselves, and they never sought to know those details.
Yeah.
So our advice, it is very important to have someone who loves God, and someone who loves you, confirm that this person loves you. And if you have fears, I've seen people get into marriage and they have fears. If you have fears, don't dare. Make sure that you first address the things that you fear.
Yeah.
Because when you get, someone said that, and we know this statement, better a broken relationship
Yeah. Than
a broken marriage.
Yeah.
That's true.
So you can break a marriage, a relationship, if there are things that you are afraid of. And when you get to marriage, I can tell you they come to manifest, like, because you are with this person 24/7, eating the same food, sleeping the same bed, sharing the same bedroom,
Na sahi hana
sharing
makeup.
everything.
Na hana makeup saa hiyo.
Hana makeup.
Exactly.
So it is good to confirm and confirm. But my part in short is also that marriage is good and it's working, but also it is work. It is work, especially for them that are like us, are in a calling, in ministry, in business, bringing up children. It is work. Someone must be deliberate. You must create time. You must also love and, avoid a lot of distractors. You must keep on something. I tell people, winking. You must wink. If you keep on everything that you see, you want to rise a quarrel.
Magnify.
You want to magnify. You must be determined to have that thing work. When storms come, because in marriage storms will come, don't keep on blaming each other. It is time to hold hands.
And run together.
I remember one time she was operating a business, and the business collapsed in time of COVID and left her with a big debt. I did not get to blame her. It was a storm. I actually had to work hard. I remember paying one person close to 300,000.
Wow.
We held hard, and we were able to. That now is behind us. A storm will come, you hold your hands together, and you push forward, because again, in marriage, there are seasons.
Yes.
There are good seasons, there are
there
tough
are bad
seasons, and you must hold hands
And move together.
and move together.
Sure.
Wow.
Thank you.
So now that you have to hold hands, practically hold those hands and say something sweet, either in Spanish, in French,
In front.
in all of them, and tell him something sweet to your bae.
To my,
Yeah.
to
Eta
my-
wa bae?
bae, no, I don't love the word.
Okay, whichever name
But I
you
call
use.
her, but nowadays she's getting used to.
So
Bae.
mwangalie,
Nimwambie.
umwambie
Yes.
maneno
Matamu.
matamu.
From my heart, I want to let you know that I still love you. I still honor you and respect you. And even if something was to happen, I'll still marry you. And one thing I love about you is that you are a good father to my sons, and you're caring. You're a man who provides to us. And I thank God that I got married to you. I have no regrets. I have no regrets that we met. And for the 11th year, I have seen us grow. And actually you pushing me and helping me to grow. And I thank God for you. And I love you so much.
Thank you so much.
Jemo,
I like also to confirm that
Cheza kama wewe.
I love you too.
Yes.
Because you said that you came into my life because you realized that I had a vision, and you have continued supporting my vision. I think were it not for you, I don't know how I would have been. You've been very good mother to our children. Actually, you really, your level is very high. You are so good than me in many things. And I like to reconfirm that I love you and I love you, and it's my joy to support you more and to see you become better and better, so that we can be able to fulfill the purpose of God in our lives. So always know that I love you and I will always be there for you.
Amen.
Oh.
God bless you.
Eish. And that's it. We are so happy to have the Kiharas with us today.
Yes.
They have given us their story, how life has been, and they have been so real, and we hope and trust that you've learned something that probably you can use to make adjustments to your own marriage, or if you're looking to get into marriage, you've learned a lesson or two that you can carry and cross as you cross over into your marriage. And I would want to end with this quote, and let me read it, that great marriages don't just happen, they are a result, an end result of a constant investment of time, forgiveness, affection, prayer, and mutual respect. That is what will give you that good marriage that you're looking towards achieving and having happening for you. So work at it, give it your best, and leave the rest to God, because He's able to make it happen. He has a final manual of how we ought to do marriage, because God is the inventor of marriage and not men. Otherwise, God bless you. See you next time.
Amen.
Thank you.
Cheers.